Welcome to Daniel's Inferno. This is my mascot for today, Toad. Thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to be discussing something that I have a personal invested interest in. Many of you may be familiar with the gaming company Blizzard Activision Entertainment. They have come out with many popular games, from StarCraft to Diablo to currently popular Overwatch or even World of Warcraft. So, Blizzard, as you can see on my screen, pulls a pro player from a tournament due to his expressing support for the Hong Kong protests. So firstly, I would like to show you all the actual video. It's not dubbed or subbed, but I will tell you what it's been translated to. You can see his gas mask. Masks are very iconic of the Hong Kong protests. Watch the casters. The casters clap for him. I'm assuming because he was brave and decided to say what he said. As you can see, he was removed for showing support for these protests by wearing a mask similar to ones worn by protesters in Hong Kong and shouting, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age." Now, I'd just like to note, not only was he removed, but these casters themselves were fired from ever being able to cast for Blizzard again. I suppose clapping was a little too triggering for Blizzard. Maybe next time they should snap. So, Blizzard cited this as the reason why he was kicked. This was the actual rule that he apparently broke, which was engaging in any act that, in Blizzard's sole discretion, that's the important part, brings you into public disrepute, offends a portion of a group of the public, or otherwise damages Blizzard's image, will result in removal from the tournament and reduction of the player's prize total to 0, in addition to other remedies which may be provided for under the handbook and Blizzard's website terms. Now, people are upset because Blizzard Activision has a 5%, they're owned by 5% by a company called Tencent, and that's a Chinese company. They also derive about 10 or 12% of their monetary value from the Asia Pacific market. The kicking out this individual, although he broke the rules, was very clearly to appease the Chinese market so that they would be able to stay in the market. Now, I would just like to note that the individual himself, firstly, he said, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age." He did say that before his ban, that it was his duty to say something due to his platform and position. So good for him, I have to say. Now, the backlash has been just humongous. Firstly, this individual, Mark Kern, who, if you see, sorry about that, guys. Mark Kern. I'll show you here. Team lead for Vanilla World of Warcraft, creator of his own game, and he produced Diablo 2, StarCraft, and Brood War. So he's been with Blizzard for quite some time. This is his statement. You can see here. Until they reverse their decision, he will no longer play Classic WoW, and he'll explain why he boycotts Blizzard. I'm not going to read you every one of his tweets. I'm just going to kind of surmise what he's saying. He's lived in Asia region for quite some time and has worked with many different gaming companies. He has watched China's influence grow in the gaming market, quite huge, and how people can make quite a lot of money out of gaming, and how the Chinese government actually subsidizes gaming companies. You can see in this tweet, he actually got removed from a company for refusing to take a $2 million kickback bribe investment from China. This was the first time he's ever spoken about it. He, as much as he doesn't, he thinks that this is going to have ramifications for his own game that he's making. However, he doesn't care. And you know what? Good for him as well. He's saying, screw you, Blizzard. He's fed up, and he is so sick of this. He takes this huge risk. He says enough is enough. He stands with Hong Kong, and he opposes Blizzard's obvious and laughable transparent fear of China. This is a very good point. It's time for Blizzard to grow the spine it used to have and do what's right for gamers once again. And you know what? I agree with that. I think when Blizzard kowtowed, they did what was wrong for gamers, and they did what was right for their pocketbooks. Now, not only is there ramifications beyond what you've just seen here, I'm going to show you this as well. This is funny. So, that's how Blizzard, people are saying Blizzard is, essentially, because of what they did. And you know what? I agree with them. I agree. It's disgusting, really. Now, the last thing I have to say. Not only are players saying boycott Blizzard, which has been trending on Twitter for 2 days at least now. You can go onto Twitter yourself and actually see how people are feeling about this, because there have been quite a few people who have uninstalled, thrown away Blizzard merchandise and paraphernalia, who have said that they will no longer go to BlizzCon. They've returned their pre-purchases of games. One of the biggest things is Brian Kibler, which is a Hearthstone caster that I personally am actually a fan of. He will no longer cast at BlizzCon because of this, until there's a reversal of the decision in some sense. Not only that, lawmakers are now looking at what Blizzard has done, and, quote, Blizzard shows it is willing to humiliate itself to please the Chinese Communist Party, Senator Ron Wyden says. U.S. senators are criticizing the game's publisher for its move. No American company should censor calls for freedom to make a quick buck. Marco Rubio even says in a tweet, recognize what's happening here. People who don't live in China must either self-censor or face dismissal and suspensions. That's so true. Why are we kowtowing to what we as people in North America would say is unacceptable? Why are we following the rules? Let me preface this by saying I understand Blizzard wants to stay in the Asian market, especially China. 1.3 billion people, quite a few people for your games is a lot of money. And 12% of their revenue comes from that market, so it's a lot. It'd be a big hit for them to stand behind their Hearthstone player. However, I think the negative PR and the fact that lawmakers themselves are now looking at the company and saying, why are you doing this? What's going on? You know, are they going to start looking into their finances? Are they going to start subpoenaing people? Who knows? I mean, we've seen how insane things can get looking at even like how people are acting with Trump's taxes, how the Russiagate nonsense went, and now with this Ukraine investigation, or suspicion that Biden and his son, there was improprieties there. Like, we all know how insane the world can get. And if lawmakers themselves are looking at the company and saying, what's going on? Why are you doing this? You know, this could spell really bad news outside of the negative PR that they've created. Lastly, I play quite a few Blizzard games myself. I'm quite the gamer. And even this morning, going and trying to play something like Hearthstone or World of Warcraft, I could feel a difference in the population. I could feel the lack of people. I can feel the hit they've taken. And if I can feel that, other people can feel that. And how many people who were originally standing with Blizzard saying, no, they're just enforcing their rules, aren't going to want to stick around when the population dwindles and dwindles. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Daniel's Inferno. Have a wonderful day.